Jerry's not like any time I've ever been in before. People die or disappear 6 times the national average. And that's just grown-ups. Kids are worse. Way worse.
Hello and welcome to Field of Geeks review of Stephen King's It, the 2017 version. I'm Josh. Joining me today is a friend of the show. Please welcome David. Let's dive in. What were your expectations going in to see this movie?
First of all, I got to state that my movie experience was ruined, but due to a teenager who he needed a fidget spinner and a tranquilizer.
Oh no!
Yeah, he would not shut up. So it kind of ruined the experience of the movie for me. However, I will give the best review that I can. I went in thinking that this movie was going to be, you read the hype, just downright terrifying. I was going expecting probably several scenes remade, and I was hoping for a quote-unquote kind of shout-out to Tim Curry hit. The movie takes place in 1985 or 86, and it starts off with Bill making Georgie's boat. Throughout this movie, you get a really good feel for the mid-80s. Everybody had a car out of the early 80s, late 70s, the house decor, setups, the whole 9 yards, even the tube TVs. But it starts off with, Georgie's boat getting made and Georgie's death. You find out that Bill and Eddie and Stan, who else was the other one? The mouthy one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who in the original movie became a voice actor. They all start off as friends, where in the book it was just Eddie and Bill. There's a lot of nasty rumors going around about the girl, Beverly. And so they introduce Beverly and Ben together, and they quickly move into Ben getting beat up by Henry Bowers, the bully, which they add a fourth bully. Henry Bowers is an older kid. He drives around in a Trans Am. So I'm going to assume that this movie takes place in a high school. These kids are high school age. In fact, yeah, because they make a comment at one point that Ben puts this together. Every 26 to 27 years, bad things happen. And they state that when at one point in the movie that if it reappears, that they'll all be grown up and elsewhere, in their 40s. So they're all teenagers. The movie does show how each one of them is kind of alienated a little bit. You get a feel for it. And this is meant for them, this generation. It is kind of fast paced a little bit. They don't go into quite as much detail as the other movie, right, or the book for that matter.
Oh yeah, because it's the age of smartphones, so yeah, you got to keep people's attention span going, and unfortunately, but sometimes do you think there's a pacing issue with the film, or you think it was okay?
No.
Okay.
No, it was all right.
Yeah.
You still got a feel of how they get together.
Gotcha.
And it's rather really quickly, all of them but Mike, the black kid, come together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because you get a really feel for. They really show you how these kids are young because they all go to the quarry. This is after Henry Bowers carves his initial or the H into Ben, and they all go down the quarry. So it shows all these kids, all these boys standing there in their whitey tighties, spitting loogies over the edge into the quarry, and all of a sudden Beverly shows up, pulls off her dress, and she's wearing a white bra and blue panties, and she dives in. And so while they're all having fun and they're all kind of sitting around in their underwear, watching Beverly sunbathe and trying not to be obvious, it gives you a feel of this is summer and these are teenagers, and this is a very awkward. This is the 80s. They're very awkward.
Yeah.
It's not like today's age where she's laying around in her underwear. The guys are going to be hooting and hollering and harassing her.
Right.
So, but they each one. It shows each one except for the mouthy kid. It shows each one how they experience Pennywise.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't experience him until they replace in the original movie. There's a book. The book. You've seen the book where the pages flip and Pennywise comes to life in the pages.
Right. I remember that.
In this movie, it's the slides where they're flipping through the slides. Yeah, it's that's the scene replaces that.
Oh, and that's good.
And that's where the mouthy kid, Trash Mouth. That's where he first experiences Pennywise. But he makes you really get a feel for their friendship because it's for the four of them.
Mm-hmm.
For Eddie, Stu, and Bill, and the other kid, because they go back and forth. They pick on each other. It's like they talk about each other's moms and stuff. It's hilarious.
Right.
And they make Splice crazy. Like at one point, they're all talking about what they've all seen it. And the mouthy kid's like, "What? Does this only affect virgins? Is that why I'm not seeing this shit?" Yeah, or they talk about drawing short straws because somebody's got to keep watch while they go into this house. And once again, the mouthy kid's like, "You're lucky we weren't measuring Peters." And just like he continuously never stops running his mouth, which in the book is that way. Like he doesn't know when to shut his mouth off.
Yeah.
So it gets him in a lot of trouble. But the bullies aren't in it a whole lot, but you do get they are a menace. Henry Bowers, you do realize why he's the way he is. You get a feel for how he's mistreated at home. And Pennywise uses that to his advantage. There is a shout out to Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Oh, good.
It's a Jack in the Box. Down in the lair, Pennywise's lair. And you understand, you actually get to see what Pennywise means when he says they all float down here.
Oh, wow.
You literally get you really understand what it is.
Oh, boy.
You do get an appearance of the dead lights like you did in the original movie. They kept the scene with the blood from Beverly's bathroom. This Pennywise, he truly is fear. And he actually states what he wants the kids for. He tells you. At one point, when all the kids are confronting him, he gives them an ultimatum because he grabs that bill. He tells them, "You can all leave now," or he goes, "I can take you all, and as I feed off your flesh, I will, or as I eat your flesh, I will feed off your fear before I slumber, or you can all leave and just leave me with Bill, and just leave Bill here, and I will just keep him." And you can all go about your lives and grow up and grow old, and let time until time returns you to the grass.
Wow.
Or to the field, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the movie, as the credits are rolling, it says "It's Chapter 1."
Cool.
And then the only thing after the credits is Pennywise's laugh.
Oh, nice. How would you compare Bill Skarsgård to Tim Curry, like their interpretations on, the clown character, It?
Tim Curry's was incredibly scary for its time. At its time,
Mm-hmm.
He's fun to watch now. He's just kind of creepy now. Don't get me wrong, Tim Curry's a phenomenal actor.
Oh yeah.
But this new It, slaps around and consumes Tim Curry's It. Like you really get because you see what happens to the children and how he mentally torments these kids, and they can do that now with the CGI and stuff. He truly is more of a menace and a presence. He feeds off the kids' fear, as it was described. I think in the book, that's how he quote unquote salts the meat. Yeah. So, and you get to see how he affects the adults.
Right, yeah. I think we got that from the trailers, right? Like the pharmacist had that creepy smile.
Yeah, the car that drives by with the balloon. Then he yells for help from those people and they ignore him.
Right.
The scene with the blood. Beverly's father sees none of it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know, you can't miss it. The whole room is now tinted, like the light's covered in blood. It's tinted red. The girl is covered in blood, and he's looking at the room like it's normal. So you see his effect on the adults as well. So, and how he blinds them to his abilities and stuff like that. And he's more of a menace. He's eviler. I don't think his outfit had the patches on it like they said it was supposed to. I didn't see it. However, his outfit is not that of an old clown. It's an old entertainer. The outfit literally, it looks like it dates back far enough that before the face paint, before the makeup, like people who juggled and did tricks and quote unquote, the gesture of the clown.
It's like a Victorian era.
Yeah, I know in the book they make mention of the Great Turtle, and I'm not sure there's a religion that tells stories of like the world is on the back of a great turtle, a giant turtle, and he represents life and good and positive energy. And then his other half, and I don't remember what it was called, takes darkness and evil and gives it a form. Okay. They continuously, because it's yin and yang, they counterbalance each other, and they were created by the other. And there's a theory that this creature was defeated by the great turtle, and he crashed to the earth and slept until they built Daria on top of him.
Oh.
Because they make mention of the first colonist, like all 93 people completely disappeared.
Oh my god!
Except for a trail of blood that led to the well, the town well.
Jeez.
You do get an idea of how old he is as well.
Wow. So comparing this movie with the book, did they get a lot of it right in your opinion? Or, did they seem like they may have added some stuff? Maybe I'm hearing that wrong.
They added some stuff. I think they changed some stuff up. I'm rereading the book, and I'm a big guy. I stand about 6'2", 6'3". I'm over 300 pounds. I've always been the big kid.
Yeah.
And in high school, as a freshman, I was 6'2". I'm also the gentle giant, which meant I was a target for bullies. I got picked on. So now that as I sit back and reread this book, it's kind of hard for me to read it because of the fact that I was bullied. However, I'm not as far in it as I would like to be. If memory serves me correctly, I think, they left some stuff out they had to be due to the length of the movie. And they made some changes. However, they did a really good job.
Good.
They changed it up, because you've got your creators' rights and stuff.
Sure.
But they still kept the essence of the book was there. So you still get a feel for the characters like you did in the book. There's just not as much information.
Kind of like less is more, perhaps?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good. You don't want to bore people to death, because sometimes translation, it gets lost,
Yeah. And that's what they did with this. Less was more.
That's good. Comparing it to the 90s movie, I know we talked about effects and budgets and stuff like that. Obviously, if Tim Curry had all he's at his disposal, he probably would maybe have been a more menacing clown, perhaps. He still creeps me out in that original movie, but Bill Skarsgård has the luxury of today's technology and what they can do. His eyes glow and just all kinds of stuff they did with him. How would you compare it to the 90s movie?
Made me want to watch the 90s movie.
Yeah? Cool.
Yeah. Tim Curry did his best with the technology he had. And I'm not putting Tim Curry's version down at all. Tim Curry's version, he scarred people. He scared people.
Sure.
There are people who are uneasy around clowns to this day because of him.
Right.
And I don't think that will happen with this movie. However, Tim Curry's movie probably, should be considered, even if it's not, a cult classic. It's still fun to watch. Tim Curry will still give you the creeps because he's no longer, for me now, he's not scary. He's just creepy.
Yeah.
He's like, he gives it, if Tim Curry's It were to walk down the street, I get a lot of bad vibes and I'm going to step away from him because I don't know what he's going to do. He's just one of those, there's something not right with that man.
Right.
And I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to cross the street and stay as far from this person as possible. Where the new It, if you were to cross the street and talk to me, I'm likely to soil myself and bolt into a building.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim Curry's version still, it still holds up.
Sure.
This movie, in fact, I'm putting it on my Christmas list as Blu-ray. I want to own it.
Awesome.
The Tim Curry version. So it just makes me want to watch it. To those who are listening who have never seen it, who do go see this movie, I encourage you to read the book, even though the book's 1,100 and some pages long, and it was during Stephen King's era of lots of detail. I encourage you to watch the Tim Curry made-for-TV movie. Which another thing is, he did an excellent job with because he was on TV.
Right. I think a lot of people don't realize that it was a television miniseries, not a motion picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it had been in the theaters, Tim Curry could have done more. But I encourage you, watch it, because once again, they take a little bit of a different approach, and he's just as, it is just as menacing, but he doesn't come off quite as evil.
Right.
That's due to budgets and CGI.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a product for its times, but it was effective and memorable, Yeah, it's a big epic film. It's like 4 hours, I think. I mean, it's a miniseries, but yeah, it's put it all together.
3.5, 4 hours.
Right.
Which you could do in the movie today.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've proven it with like Lord of the Rings and stuff. However, I don't know if I could sit through 3.5 hours of a 3.5 hour horror movie. I think at some point that I'm just going to want to be done and get up and leave. It would just be too much.
Right.
Especially as it was as scary in today's standards as it was in that time. Yeah. You could frighten people the same way. I mean, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, that'd be just too much for a person.
Hopefully a lot of people feel the same way, to revisit the original. Hopefully the original gets more well known after this, because it's not like it's a product for its times, like we said, but, it's nice to see a different telling of the story. Maybe this is more of a retelling than a remake. I mean, I know it's a remake, but what I'm saying is it's just a simple retelling, like, for this generation. So, our generation had the original, but they can kind of coexist, you don't need to really shut the other one down. I mean, it didn't have as much budget or anything going into it, but it's still, it was still a great miniseries, from my memory. And I know it also helps that Stephen King has praised this new It movie. So I think that will help a lot of his fans, accept it as well.
I was a little sad, and see if I can find it, because I got the book in front of me. In the book, when Georgie meets Pennywise, he gives him a real name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Georgie tells him, and I'm right in that area, Georgie tells him that, I can't take, items from strangers. And this is actually out of the original novel. I got the original paperback that was printed that year. It's falling apart, but Georgie tells him that my dad says that I can't take from strangers, and Pennywise goes, "Very wise of your dad," the clown in the storm drain said, smiling. "Very wise indeed. Therefore, I will introduce myself. I, Georgie, am Mr. Bob Gray, also known as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Pennywise, meet George, whatever his last name is. George, meet Pennywise. And now we know each other. I'm not a stranger to you, and you're not a stranger to me." So he gives him a real name.
Wow.
I think Bob Gray was mentioned in the movie.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna go re-see it Thursday, and hopefully I don't have some jittery kid next to me. But I think the name Bob Gray was mentioned in the movie, but in neither movie does Pennywise give you a real name, which I think they did that to take away any form of humanity that you might want to attach to the creature.
Right.
So they don't want you to think that he was once human, so it gives him more of a mysterious feel.
So the book probably explores more of, maybe that's the only time the name's mentioned, perhaps.
According to the book and in the original movie, Mike, who is he's the black kid, he's the outsider. His family lives outside of town, and they slaughter sheep for the meat for the local butchery and stuff. And that's why he's picked on. It's because he's an outsider. He's not from here.
Oh, gotcha. Sure.
So, and as he grows up, he stays, and everyone else goes off to live their lives, and he stays behind. And eventually, right now, I'm in the book. The kids are remembering what happened. The adults are remembering what happened to them as kids, and Mike is researching. They might bring up who Pennywise was, or give him a name in the next movie. This one, there was no adults. It was just start off as the kids.
Right, and I think that was a good choice,
Yeah.
Let them be the stars, yeah.
Yeah, so in the next one, I would imagine they'll end it with where this one left off, like where the kids make the pact. And then it should cut to everybody starting to receive phone calls and explain to their significant others why they have to leave.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to spoil it for people if you have not read the book, Stan's suicide. The thing that haunted him was terrifying. Pennywise feeds off your fear, and he manifests that fear to make you scared so he can feed off of it. The thing that Stan was afraid of come out of a painting, and it looked like, I think it's the screamer.
Oh.
Where the white figure is kind of curved and looks like he has hands on his face screaming. I think that's who it is. However, this director took this figure and made it look like something that should come out of the movie The Conjuring. Like, it's got the twist and it's got the look, like the paint, like it looks like it's part of the painting, but it's moving around.
Ooh.
Like, it was terrifying. Like, I think if I saw that, my heart would pop. Like, so Stan decides to take his life instead. Like, I think part of that is, in the book, they're all remembering little by little, bits and pieces. It's like if you're walking down a hall and you flip on the light switch and look at a picture, then walk another 10 feet down the hall, flip on another light switch, and you can see another picture. So the memories come back from each picture little by little. I think what Stan was, it hit him all at once. Because he's on the phone. In the book, really, he's on the phone, talking to Mike, tells his wife he's going to go take a bath, which she thinks is odd because he never bathes early. He always bathes right before bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes up into the bathroom, locks the door, something else he never does, runs a hot bath, and slits his wrist and writes "It" across the wall in blood. For those of you who have not read the book.
Wow.
I think that's actually early in the book. So I think the memories hit him all at once, and it was too much. And I'm sorry if you hit me with all the memories of that thing. Yeah, I don't think that I want to go back either, and I don't think that I want to keep that promise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find a way out of it. I don't know if I'd go that far, but he does. I think Stan gets the worst of it, to tell you the truth. I think his fear is the worst of it. Everybody else is, Bill is his brother. Ben is, each one has their fear, and they're all similar except for Beverly's and Stan. And Beverly's is their father. They did a really good job of making him just like not creepy Pennywise from the original, but creepy like that man should not be near a playground. Like you get a real feel for that poor girl.
Damn, that's sad. Horror wise, is this does this film deliver to you?
I think so. I don't know. I think it would have if I didn't have the kidneys. But yeah, I think that I took a buddy with me from work, and he really enjoyed it. He watches like The Conjuring and all those. He really enjoyed it.
Great.
So yeah, I think it does. I think that it brought it. I think that it did a good job bringing the scare. And I recommend it to anyone who won't, if you're into that sort of thing, go see it. So,
it lives up to its hype. Is that what you're saying, pretty much? The hype you had for it?
If you don't look too much into it,
mm-hmm.
you read all the spoilers and stuff, it's not going to. I think to a point it did, yeah.
In the film itself, in the acting, how would you rate that? Like the direction of the film and I guess the quality, it all put together.
For the kids, it took a little while for me to really feel for the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't super impressed in the beginning, but as the movie went on, I started to enjoy the characters more. And Pennywise, the guy did a really good job. His goal was to scare and this to be scary, and he did a good job.
Yeah.
He made you uneasy. As Pennywise, he made, in the beginning, he made you uneasy. And he quickly went from happy, like, when he's talking to George, he pop, about the popcorn, pop, 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 to, bam, serious, and then made you uneasy. He went from, I like this clown, he's funny, there's something wrong with him, because now he's super serious, and he's making me uneasy. Just like a flip of a switch.
Mm. Oh, boy.
When he stopped smiling and laughing, you were unsure of him, and you did not want to be around him. He did a good job. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
The bullies, and they're not. They looked like trash in the trailer. They're not. He just lives out in the country a little bit, and he's just not. Yeah, his dad's just really, really hard on him. But the bullies, yeah, they're dicks. You get a feel that you want to. Right off the back, you want to hate them.
Yeah.
Because they run into Bill and the other three, and make fun of Bill stuttering. And when they get a hold of it, and then you want to dislike them, and then when they get a hold of Ben, the chunky kid, you want to hate them.
I bet. Yeah, because doesn't Stephen King's, a lot of his earlier books at least, feature a lot of bullies?
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't get into Stephen King till later in life.
Gotcha.
I was a Dean Koontz fan, and I can't remember who I was reading before I got into Dean Koontz. It took me longer to get into Stephen King.
Well, if you recall Stand By Me, for instance, that was a Stephen King book. The bullies in that movie were dicks as well. I mean, it's like you can really write bullies for what they are.
Yeah, his bullies are great.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible people.
Yeah.
And he does them right. He's not just some simple jerk. Stephen King always he makes you realize why they're a simple jerk. He makes you want to hate him. With this kid, you kind of felt bad for him, but then again, you screw that piece of crap.
You're right. They gave you a little bit of feel for him, but you still were like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're a horrible person.
Yeah, especially as someone who got bullied. It's like, I feel bad for your situation, but I still don't like you.
Backing up a little bit, this movie is directed by Andy Muschietti. I think that's how you say his name. He directed Mama. Did you happen to see that movie he did?
No, and I want to. The Kids Who Found in the Woods, I want to see it, and I heard good things about it. I just never get around to it.
Yeah, perhaps that was what got him this movie. So you think, obviously, the kids aside, they should probably bring back the whole team for the follow-up, would you say?
Yeah, I think we need one more scene in the next movie with the kids.
Okay, like whether a transition scene or something?
Like, and you can do it at the end when it's all said and done, and they're all sitting back smiling around and remembering happier times.
Gotcha.
All of them riding together at the bikes, hanging out, laughing. I think you should do one more scene, and it's something that wasn't in this movie. So one more scene with the kids, even if it's brief, so that you can connect both sides. But the kids, like I said, once you further into the movie you got, the more you felt for them, and the more that you become attached to them, the more that you realize that all these kids are so different, and yet they're such good friends.
Right.
And you could tell what made them friends.
Yeah, maybe when the adults appear to each other after not seeing each other for years, they see the kid version of them at first. Maybe they can do some clever things like, like flashbacks, and also like, what each of them are seeing in, one another. Hey, I remember him. He looked like this or whatever. Because, I've heard the kids work so well. It just, it sucks that, you're not going to get another full movie with them. But for the story, you have to move on to the adults. That's just no question there.
Can't wait to see who he casts for each person.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I talked to someone else who saw this movie, and he was saying like, oh yeah, they should get like Jake Gyllenhaal. He was just naming all these big actors, and I was thinking, well, that budget's going to be huge if you get all these huge actors. I mean, it might be
you
it might be worth the gamble.
It might, you could get one or two bigger names. However, I think that because this is it, and in the 90s, they took people who were semi-known and gave them that push. So yeah, I think that that's what they need to do. But same thing with like when I brought up talked about the Terminator franchise and stuff. You can find there's still not quite so known actors out there who you can do something with and help them make a name.
For sure. I mean, you know, like all these kids weren't huge stars and they found them.
And they're like in the movie, and he's not in there very, very long, and I don't remember his name, but if you watch Supernatural, there's a character of Supernatural named Rufus. Rufus is hilarious. He finds a way out of work. He's old. Rufus is probably a hunter who's in his 50s. He's old. He's been doing this a while. He's this black guy, and he's a smart ass. And like and when you watch the series, there's several points where him and Bobby are working together, and Rufus is like, "Oh, I can't dig up that grave. The sun's down, man. It's like the Sabbath or something." Yeah. He's got a new religion to keep him from having to do the hard work. He's in this. Now he's not a well-known actor. He's not your, I won't use his name. I don't like Cruz. He's not your Hugh Jackman. He's not your, and so on and so forth. But he's still been in plenty of stuff, lower budget stuff, and he's an excellent actor. Well, and he plays Mike's grandfather.
Oh, okay.
And he gives Mike a little bit of a hard time because Mike can't kill a sheep.
Oh, right.
He's pointing that gun that fires the piston at the sheep. He's kind of shaking, and he just can't seem to do it. And so his grandfather walks up, takes it, gives him crap, just boom, does it, and tosses the gun on, tosses the gun to someone else to reload it, and tells him there's two types of people in this world.
Yeah.
You're either on this side of the fence, or you're one of the sheep, and you don't know you're one of the sheep until somebody's got the gun to your head.
Right.
He says, you need to make your choice. And he's kind of hard on him. Well, he was a phenomenal actor. I think he was perfect. I mean, even the role's not that long. It's only 5 minutes. I think he was perfect for that point. If you can look at some of these sci-fi TV shows and stuff like that, and you can find actors who will fill the roles of the adult.
Perhaps that's what they'll do, they'll just find talent again, or talent that hasn't really been center stage. So that'll be great.
Yeah. You can find people to fill these roles so that you don't have to get the huge name actors.
Exactly.
And you still stay within budget.
Right, yeah.
And some of these guys will do phenomenal jobs.
Well, you don't want them to outshine the story itself, like distraction, like, oh, that's so-and-so, and ooh, he might get an Oscar for this. Who knows? But, yeah. No horror movie ever wins an Oscar because the people who control that are biased. No.
It's the truth. You're lucky if they'll win an Emmy or even get nominated.
Right.
It's
MTV award.
It's like the music awards.
Yeah.
No metal band or rock band really wins. No good ones ever won anything until Megadeth won this year. That's only because Megadeth's been doing it for forever.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so they finally we might as well. And then they played the wrong song. That tells you something.
How was the crowd? Was it a sold out show?
I think there's just a couple of empty seats.
Not bad.
I went and saw the Flicks. For those of you who don't know what Flicks is, in our hometown here, it's a theater where it's all the chairs are lined up side by side. There's tables in front, and you can order real food and beer. They craft their own beer. And
it was the crowd mixed between young and old people, or was it just? It was cool.
There was some late teens, early 20s. There were some people in there probably my age and older. I think I spotted a couple of people probably in their 50s.
That's very cool. Well, thanks a lot, David, for reviewing this for us. I look forward to seeing it in the future. We'll see. For those out there who love horror, this seems to be your ticket. Thanks for joining us, and remember,
they all float.